on the affirmative side, and we believe that finding the truth is more important than protecting a person's constitutional rights. Our value is security. Security is an important value because if we were to live in an insecure society, then criminals would get away with crime and justice would not be served. Our first reason is number 1, criminal rates would go down. Number 2, in order for the U.S. criminal justice system to do its job, finding the truth must be necessary. Number 3, if we don't find the truth, innocent people might go to jail.
Hi, my name is Joshua. Fact 1 is criminal rates will go down because when they are released from jail, they will realize they shouldn't.
You said the criminal justice system makes a fair trial, right?
Yes.
But then how is that going to relate to your value of security?
If you don't have a fair trial, then they're just gonna have then the judge will just give them the warrant without if you don't find back in a fair trial, then the judge is just gonna give them a warrant, the police a warrant that's not fair, and then they're just gonna break into your house and break your security.
Yeah, Chayo.
Well, this is kind of on a different point, but for your reason number 1, how do you know who's the criminal unless you listen to for example the amendment number 1, freedom of speech? Until you listen to both cases, you can't really figure out who the criminal is. The judge can't.
Well, if let's say you're allowed to change the amendments. When you change the amendment, you can change the amendment to say what you said, to change it.
As I said before, but then, how are they gonna, the criminal justice system has a job, right?
Yeah.
How are they gonna keep up with that every day?
How could they keep
With everyday crime, there's usually cameras on the streets in some public areas, and they can catch footages of crime.
And there's also witnesses. When the crime is happening.
Yeah, some people might
see. Yeah, they could see what's happening.
Yeah, because some criminals might threaten them to be quiet and stuff like that.
Why would innocent people be sent to jail if they could just have, if it was a case of murder, why would innocent people just go to jail? You can still check for handprints.
Well, that would happen if we protect a person's constitutional rights, because that means the real criminal might have lots of money and they can hire a defense team for them, and they might not go to jail because their defense team might protect them. And then if the innocent man doesn't have any money or can't hire a defense team, that innocent man might be accused and go to jail, and the government is technically protecting the real criminals and is sending the innocent people to jail.
In your reason 2, in the criminal justice system, in the First Amendment, it says you can't force anyone, even if you're a criminal, to say they're guilty. They have to say it of their own accord. And then if you find the truth, you have to force them because of the evidence. And that will be breaking our First Amendment.
Yeah, but you can't just let them go even though they committed a crime. Because if you find the truth, you have to send them to jail. Or else if you just let them go, they might commit another crime.
Yeah. But then the 6th and 7th Amendments say you have a spare and speedy trial. How are you going to find the truth so fast?
We've got high-tech. They have high-tech security systems. So if you can find the truth really fast, let's say the murderer wasn't really a professional murderer. Let's say he wasn't a trained assassin. Then he wouldn't have he would have at least left one thing wrong, because people aren't perfect. He would have at least left one mark or anything.
Like a footprint, a fingerprint, a piece of hair fell off.
Yeah.
And dust, like a piece of his cloth came off. And they can use that to track down the assassin or criminal, and they could they could send him to jail without sending the wrong person to jail.
And what if someone had the same clothes, or they had like they were in their his family and they had like the same like hair and stuff and clothes as him?
Everyone's DNA is different.
Yeah. Okay. How is the Constitution going to stop people from finding the truth?
Well, just like I said before, if you're protecting a person's constitutional rights, the criminal gets a chance to defend himself.
Why? I don't get why the Constitution is great according to your opinion. Because you know how the Constitution is connected to the Bill of Rights, and in the Second Amendment, it explains that it allows Americans to own weapons, and if you can own weapons like without causing crime, that is good. Okay, but then what if everyone is like causing crime with weapons?
Well, then I'm not gonna change it, but I would believe that government should add something to that amendment, like saying that you should only carry a weapon around for a certain use, not for murdering. Like, let's say someone was carrying a kitchen knife and the police asked them why, and they said they were going to their job, a restaurant, they were going to chop up onions. Then that would be legal because they're not using it to commit murder or crime. But let's say he was carrying a knife and the police asked why, and then he says that he was going to kill someone, then that would be illegal and they would be sent off to jail.
But then people wouldn't like confess, and besides they would leave like knives and stuff in the restaurant.
They also need a license to have a gun.
Okay. Yeah, to carry a gun around, you need a license.
And if you don't have a license, and if you don't show the police that you have the license, that you're carrying around the gun, you go to jail.
Yeah, because if you don't have the license, it's illegal to carry a gun around with you.
Wisdom use body scanners will detect security. Right?
I heard that.
Hi, my name is Youngsa. Hi, my name is Chaeyoon. Hi, my name is Irene. This is our robot Phil, and as you see, this is the value, also known as justice. Justice is the most valuable quality in this debate because it protects the citizen rights and it treats everybody fairly.
Our first reason is that we're all human, and all humans and all citizens deserve to be protected by the constitutional rights. Reason 2 is that our ancestors fought whole wars for our rights and democracy, and we should not abuse them. And reason number 3, the government should not have too much power over the citizens or judges and policemen in trials.
Fact number 1 is the 4th Amendment from the Bill of Rights states that every American deserves his or her privacy. Fact number 2 is it wouldn't be fair if judges and policemen have complete control over trials.
Citizens do deserve to have their privacy, but how would they protect the people from not getting killed or injured? Because let's say we got rid of the body scanners, then they might be carrying a weapon, and if they deserve their own privacy, that means we can't scan them to check if they have no weapons or anything.
There are still back checkers, and plus in airports, there is like you go through this scanner. It doesn't like show your body though. It just goes like beep 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 if you have like metal or anything.
Well, your first counterpunch is like you're allowed to change the amendments. You're allowed to change amendments. So if you thought, let's say when you have to find the truth to make sure that the guy that you think is the criminal, then you can violate one of the amendments and then change the amendment to something else. Like if you think that that's the criminal, then you can go into his house and check.
Well, the Fourth Amendment states that every American does deserve privacy.
But if you get a warrant from the judge, then it doesn't matter what privacy. You can just get into the house.
Well, that's true, but then police can still get arrested too.
I know, but if you have the warrant, you can get arrested because you have proof that the judge actually gave you the warrant to get into the guy's house.
Okay, Nicholas?
I have a different question. Of your fact, on your third fact, it says our ancestors fought in the Revolutionary War for our freedom and our constitutional rights. Am I right? And I do believe that it's right. But still, if let's say we found out that this kind of criminal did this thing, we can't protect their constitutional rights. Because after they just murdered someone or committed or stole jewelry, they have to be punished, or else if you just let them go, they're gonna commit crime again. Because they learned that they're gonna let him go because they're protecting his constitutional rights.
Well, if you haven't noticed, the Sixth Amendment tells everybody that. But that you can have a fair trial still.
But sometimes if you have a fair trial, if the judge is the boss right now. So if the judge thinks that you're the one that murdered someone or like stole something and is keeping it in your house, then they'll give the police the warrant to get to your house.
Well, it is the jury that makes the judge decide, so it's kind of like the jury deciding.
The judge can silence everyone with the hammer, and he makes his own choices. The jury doesn't make. If he doesn't like the jury's cases, he doesn't use that.
My name is Nicholas Chump, and I am the captain of the AF side. And our final statement is this: finding the truth is more important than protecting a person's constitutional rights, because then that means the real criminal would have a chance to defend themselves. Also, if you don't find the truth, an innocent person might be accused and sent to jail. I don't think that's fair at all.
Hi, I'm ISOAPPLE, and I'm the captain of the next side. This is our final statement. Our team deserves to win because every citizen having equal rights is more important than finding the truth. This is because our ancestors fought hard to win rights for every citizen. Because of the rights, the government or judges and policemen should not have complete control over America.